Good. All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Kelly Dahlbach, Executive Business Coach for Corporate Executive turned Passionate CEO. I'm here with Lisa Ann this morning to discuss how you define your passion and what really sets you apart from the rest of the workforce economy. Lisa, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Lisa Ann Holt. I'm a registered nurse, and I have a background in healthcare transformation. I'm the CEO of Lisa Ann Holt Consulting, and I specialize in working with startup healthcare companies, behavioral health institutions. I help them with either transforming their business, getting projects up and running smoothly, or helping them with project funding and pretty much whatever they need to make their businesses successful.
Great. So why passion and purpose, right? Well, I know I can feel that when I'm aligned with my passion, things seem to flow easier, to work more smoothly, and I'm able to articulate and produce better work outcomes. But why beyond feel? Because as humans, we need that proof in our brains. Does passion and purpose make an impact? And I really emphasize that term impact, because I think it is going to be one of those words over the past year and the coming years that really continues to be highlighted in both a broad sense as well as a keyword search, right? Everybody wants to begin to make an impact, and the impact is not only fueling our soul and our passion, but it actually is shown and proven to help companies grow faster and wider. And so a company's purpose is really in and around why an organization exists. And when we talk about brand and we talk about we're in a period of where there's more information and more choice than any time in human history, how do you stand apart? Well, authenticity comes to mind as well. And authenticity is truly being your whole self, without regard necessarily to what are the standard norms or what has society told us we need to do. It really represents how you connect, you personally, and the brand and the business, how you connect with other human lives that come into contact with your business or with the role that you currently play in a corporation. So passion and purpose is really critical, especially when starting a new business or considering going out in innovation in an idea or strategy. So a little bit about my passion and purpose and how I found, where I am today is, you look at your history and you see the skills that you've built over the past 10, 20, 30 years. And you don't want to disregard, right? Because there are some points in your career where you do feel completely aligned with your purpose and your passion. And it's critically important to take note of that, because sometimes when we're doing things such as pivoting our careers, we feel, oh, well, I've got to kind of start over. And you can kind of make a left turn without making a U-turn. And so we're going to talk through this exercise in how to identify those points in your career where you were passionate, where you really were driven by purpose. And so two things that really came to mind when I was making my career pivot was that I love to build businesses from scratch. I've done it many times. And I love to empower other individuals to reach their highest capability. And so those were two things for me when I decided to come out and be in the coaching and consulting space, what drove me. And so when we look back in, finding our passion is really in and around what we've done without even really notice to the work that was being done. It's like, where did the time go? What was I doing? It's like, that is when you're, like, sometimes they call it in flow or in the zone. And that's what that feels like. So if you have anything that triggers that emotion or in the zone, I'd love to hear it in the chat. And Lisa, I would also love to hear, some of the points in your career where you felt in the zone, if you will.
Sure. Well, like you, Kelly, I also love building businesses, and I love taking businesses either from ground up and building from scratch, or helping organizations with redesign. Because if I can help them with redesign and keep them, maybe prevent them from having to file bankruptcy or going out of business in the community, I feel really, really, really rewarded. Um, Being a nurse, most of my background has been in the healthcare world. So I know that I make a huge impact. If I can save a failing business, I make a huge impact to the community and to the patients that are being served within that community. So as a nurse, I'm always looking for ways to nurture people. I never really dreamt when I went to nursing school that I would be working on trying to improve lives of entire communities at one time. But that's really where I feel passionate, where I feel so excited and energized. Um, like I was saying not long ago, I can put in 12 hours straight. Like I love in our slide, it says, can you speak off the cuff for 30 minutes? I could go 12 hours plus before I finally fall down so exhausted I have to get rest, when I'm doing something like that, when I'm really working on transformation, when I'm working to empower others, and I'm looking to build up other healthcare leaders in the field so that they can take over from me. That's so rich and so rewarding. But if you put me in front of the computer and tell me I have to do data entry for 12 hours, I wouldn't last 12 minutes, because that is not my passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Great examples. Thanks, Lisa. Great examples. So when you think about genuine interest and true curiosity, right? That is where you read the books and you read it for interest. You don't read it for school. You can speak on a topic, but you think you got to do it outside of business hours. Maybe you're interested in something, but it's not what you're practicing. These are the areas, and I just want you to just jot them down on a piece of paper, and I'm going to do the same. But the ideas as a whole, think of it kind of like a vision board. We're going to go through a couple different questions where we're exploring, and it's not going to be one particular idea. What it's going to do is help clarify where there can be some ideas for business that kind of pop up, that shows not only your skills, but also your passions. All right, so go ahead and take a moment and write down the hobbies or area of interest where time flies by, where you've had massive transformation in your life, or where you could speak off the cuff for 30 minutes on your topic of choice. All right, we'll keep going. All right, so now let's explore your pain points. Pain points are a lot of reasons for birth of businesses, right? Somebody or enough people in a particular community or throughout the world are struggling with a particular pain point, and you identify the individuals that have that particular pain point. You do your consumer research around it, and you build a product that specifically addresses those pain points. And that's the way a lot of businesses are built. So when you think about your pain points in your life, it doesn't have to be something that you want to fix. But again, this is kind of exploratory in our vision board as to what are the possibilities that you could provide a solution to. So what would you have paid anyone, any price in the world to solve for you? What was some of the most difficult times in your life where you really, really, really could have used, or a difficult time or a difficult scenario where you really could have used some guidance or a solution? And where do you see clear business opportunity through the lens of a consumer? Again, this is why I reflect what are your pain points. And if you want to expand even beyond that, look in your family, look in your partner, your spouse, or your children. What do they clearly, consistently, and persistently struggle with? Some things that come up for me, I know, was work-life balance. When I was traveling a lot for work, I would, have given anything or just for someone to either help me with the solution or through the acceptance of it through the period of where I reached burnout in my career. I just, that would have been a period. And also being a working mom, kind of along the same lines, but those were two things that I really, really struggled with over the course of my career that I could have seen, whether there was a program or a coach or a consultant or a solution, a support group, whatever it was that would have really, really helped during a difficult period in my life. What about you, Lisa?
Well, I'm thinking about the most difficult time in my life, and that was a period that led to burnout for me, and was a really rotten time. It didn't have a thing to do with my day-to-day work, but I was a member of a senior leadership team, and we had an introduction of a new colleague into that team who was the most toxic person I have ever met. And that person's toxicity really poisoned the relationships between every member of the senior leadership team. And it became to the point that coming into work every day felt like drudgery, a chore. And unfortunately, our boss, our CEO, seemed either oblivious to the situation or tended to side with the newer member of the team and listen to misrepresentations of individual character of people on the team. And that felt horrible. It made me feel powerless. It made me feel inconsequential. And it resulted in me ending up being hospitalized with like wickedly out of control high blood pressure that could have killed me. And I realized in that moment, no job is worth that. And I had to make a change. Even though I loved my work, I did not like the work environment.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad that you found your way out, whichever path that may have come.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So finding our passion continued. Let's explore who is living the life that you believe that you want to live. Who are the individuals that you feel have the life and work that you desire? List them. Doesn't have to be in the same career. It doesn't have to be in the same job. Again, if you start listing the people that have this lifestyle that you desire to have, what kind of work are they doing? Because it could give you a clue about the environment that you desire, to Lisa's point. Maybe it's not about the work. Maybe it's all about the environment for you that's really going to help you uncover your passion. People could be passionate about an autonomous work environment where they are able to spread their wings and do, work in multiple departments, or, where they can stay extremely focused. Like those are things that when we say passion, it doesn't have to be this big grand thing. Your passion can really be about different things. And that's why it's important to ask all of these types of questions, because like I said, you may uncover something that you didn't see before that allows then your mind to start discovering the pathway towards there. So circle any of our previous lists that include the interests, the top professional skill set, or the major pain point that really, really, really interests you. When I think about multiple individuals that had the work-life balance, I'm laughing because I think it was my grandmother and she was retired.
It's funny you say that because I'm thinking of my mom. Like, I want her life, but I'm not quite to retirement age yet.
But outside of that, what I was attracted to was the people that didn't feel like they turned on and off work, for lack of a better way to put it. It was something that they talked about freely, no matter where they were. It was something that they were able to discover and discuss any time of the day, any time of the week, not just between the hours of 9 and 5. This was truly about, like you said, what gets them up in the morning. So what's next? What you can do with these components. And one other thing that I wanted to add is your top 1% skill set. Okay, what would your bosses or your peers consistently over the last 10 to 15 years have to say about your performance? What are you consistently at the top of the rank for? You know, maybe it is data analytics. Maybe it is team building. Maybe it is training. Maybe it is discovery. Maybe it's meeting mediation. You know, all of those things are important components, because sometimes we don't always take the direct step from where we are now to a passionate business owner, right? Sometimes we have to find a job that simply allows us the freedom, the flexibility, and the autonomy to discover more, discover what is next. And so that is every little thing that you learn along the way is really what helps you get to the point of starting that business. But if you can't get there from where you are now, so you're here learning more, you're asking these questions, and you're learning about yourself. And that is what is so impactful about this work that we're talking about and that we're doing, is that you're not going to learn it in a history book. You don't find passion in a history book or in a math class or you could discover it in a math class, I guess, if you loved math, but you're not going to necessarily find the answer directly written by someone else. You are the only person that can write your answer. And so doing these self-discovery exercises is what really is going to help. And then once you know that you like a flexible work environment, you want to work outside, you want to work on an executive team, or you want to work at a director level, like all of those things are important. Then you start finding people who have what you want, and you network with them. I did a survey recently on LinkedIn, and it said, how did you find your last job? 90% of people that found their last opportunity was from a direct discussion or network. 10% was through LinkedIn or through another platform, and 10% was in an other way. So we think about how much time, I'm going to say waste, but how much time we put in with the electronic submission of resumes and job searching. And then you see that that's not how people are finding jobs or opportunities. They're finding them through talking to people. So if you want to get into the travel business, if you want to get into the consulting business, you need to talk to the people that are in the industry. And then you all of a sudden find an entry level way in. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't jump typically from one industry to another industry or to business ownership without learning and exploring. And I think that was, you know, one of my, and still is, like, you know, a learning lesson is that you're rewriting a new chapter of your book, or you're writing a new chapter of your book. And so understanding, again, I say this so many times, that you're not applying for a new job if you decide to start your own business. It's critically important to understand that it's a journey. And the worst thing that you can do is put a time pressure restraint on it. And so every step that you can take to network, to learn, to discover what you want to do is critically important. Make your profile shine and your purpose. We're going to talk next week about the top 3 things that you can do in your LinkedIn profile to get more views, get more interaction, and improve your social selling index, and understand, you know, how I think I appeared, I don't know if you look, but appear in just over 100 to 150 searches every week. And my top 3 searches are CEO, entrepreneur, or business coach. And that's exactly what I would want to be searched for.
Exactly.
So it's important that, you know, if you want to be a trainer, or you want to be a dietitian, or you want to be a nurse, that you come up for those searches. But if that's something that is part of who you are, but not what you're focused on, then you don't want those necessarily to be your searching keywords.
Right.
So being very clear in that is important. And I know, Lisa, you've done some work in your profile recently. How has that impacted, you know, your opportunities, or being seen for what you now want to do?
Well, it definitely has attracted the right clients. And I think that uh, having qualified clients is a huge time saver, because originally all of my engagement came from fellow colleagues from old jobs. It was all my old work buddies that after I'd leave a job, I'd go add everybody on LinkedIn, and didn't really pay a whole lot more attention to my profile other than using it as a place to keep my resume current, and to keep up with old friends and find out what they were doing. But once I was more purposeful about building my network and building the network with the right people, or the people I wanted to have a relationship with in a professional sense, it has made all the difference in the world. Now the right people find me. I still have, you know, those other contacts that are, you know, just casual acquaintances, but I really have noticed a huge difference since really targeting the audience that I want to speak to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a powerful way now. It's just searching for the individuals. And how great that I connected with Lisa from Sweden and a networking opportunity. We have very aligned interests in business segments, and now we're working together. So it truly is so powerful. And you don't have to, you know, people want to help. We're in a period of human evolution where there's more opportunity to network and support each other than I have personally seen in, you know, the last 16 years of my working career. There's so many people, if I ask them a question or want to reach out or help, I mean, anyone on this call connected because they want to network, they want to build, and they want to support any, you know, the other individuals in their career. So reach out, do some key searches on LinkedIn with what you want to do, send an introductory message, and you never know, you might be talking to your next employer, your next colleague, your next person to support your grand business idea. But you have to start in discussions. So.
Right.
All right. Well, anything else that you'd like to close with, Lisa? Hopefully that was a productive exercise for you all to go through, and hopefully you discovered something about yourself.
Yeah, no, I think all very, very good advice. And I'm really looking forward to our next talk next week.
All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Namaste.
Bye.